Time.
Do you know that you're beautiful?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes on
You
a
do?
good day.
Oh.
On a good day.
Some people felt that Michelle Pfeiffer was being a bit difficult with me during our interview, but she wasn't. She simply hadn't done enough interviews to be well versed in the ways of dodging questions or masking her true feelings. But as a result, I think you get a very accurate picture of one of our biggest and most reclusive and, yes, nicest stars. In a moment, the exquisite Michelle Pfeiffer.
Leather, brass, and steel. Women love a man in uniform.
I'll see to it.
And Kevin Costner looks great in his.
I don't believe in quantum physics when it comes to matters of the heart.
A baseball jersey, dress whites, or union blue.
Oh, my God!
Is it the man?
Oh, my, what a nice bag.
Or the uniform?
When you speak of me, speak well.
Spend Memorial Day with Kevin Costner. Tomorrow, starting at 3 on Lifetime, television for women.
Did you know mosquitoes are attracted to moisture, body heat, and movement? Did you know you can catch poison ivy if unwashed clothing is worn a year after contact? And did you know Cortisone 10 penetrates skin to stop the itch and help heal poison ivy and insect bites? Among these, it's the only one with the medicine doctors recommend most to stop itching and help heal. So this summer when you itch, remember the power of 10. Cortisone 10, powerful itch relief for the power to heal.
This is not a TV show. This could be you. What would happen to your family? Where would the money come from? For the mortgage, for your kids' education, to live on. But this is a commercial. There is something you can do. Life insurance. It isn't for the people who die. It's for the people who live.
Intimate Portrait, Mother Teresa. Premiering next Sunday at 10 on Lifetime.
If you were going to build your own movie star, you'd probably first see to it that she had a face no moviegoer could possibly forget. A good body would also be nice. A great singing voice wouldn't hurt. And then, of course, you'd make certain she had enough raw acting talent to surpass all of the above. Michelle Pfeiffer was built for stardom. She was born into the fun and sun lifestyle of Orange County, California. Her father's air conditioning business supported her mother, older brother, and 2 younger sisters. Michelle hung out at the beach, traveling with the in crowd. She heard that Hollywood talent scouts frequented beauty pageants, so reluctantly Michelle entered and won the Miss Orange County pageant. She paid her dues, playing the knockout blonde in a couple of little-seen TV series, and decided that she would fight to never again be the jiggle in some producer's fantasy. Her first real break came in 1982 with Grease 2, the sequel to the hit movie Grease. But it was Scarface, opposite Al Pacino, that took Michelle off the starlet track and opened the door to more serious work. In 1988, Married to the Mob put her on the short list of bankable female stars. That same year, her performance in Dangerous Liaison earned Michelle a Best Supporting Actress Oscar nomination. Was there anything at which she didn't excel?
Another June, another Sunday.
Apparently not. Her portrayal of the streetwise nightclub singer Susie Diamond in The Fabulous Baker Boys wowed everyone, and Michelle got another Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actress. Her movies since prove that Michelle is a gambler. She likes to play parts that have little to do with being beautiful and blonde. Frankie and Johnny, Batman Returns, Love Field, The Age of Innocence, Wolf. From one project to the next, she's as much an enigma on the screen as in real life. Making movies is something she does naturally. Giving interviews is not. It's not surprising that Michelle is widely considered the most private star in Hollywood. She was married for 8 years to actor-director Peter Horton. At the time of our interview in 1992, Michelle was dating actor Fisher Stevens. They later broke up. She became a single mother when she adopted her daughter, Claudia Rose, in 1993. 8 months after the adoption, Michelle married television producer David Kelly. She gave birth to her second child, John Henry, in 1994. Do you know what this is doing?
Yes, we're making foam.
She has the self-conscious manner of a woman who has been stared at a little too long and a little too often. But under it all is an extremely bright woman who would love to simply do her movies and walk through shopping malls unnoticed. It's never going to happen, and I think she knows it. One of the things that I have read that you've said again and again about acting is, I could quit tomorrow. I think about quitting every day.
I think about quitting every day, but I
Really?
couldn't quit tomorrow.
Why do you think about quitting?
Because it's not a cut and dry profession. It's very, it tampers with your emotions. It tampers with your life. I am public property. I'm public domain. Even if you stopped acting, you can't stop being famous. It's not going to go away. So get over it.
How do you get over it?
You just do. You just do.
And you say, I will do that interview with Barbara Walters, even if I don't want to do that interview, right?
Well, suddenly I said to myself, I knew you were going to ask me this, and I said to myself, well, she can ask you just about anything, but you don't have to answer her. I thought, well, that's a novel idea. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. So,
What could I ask you that you wouldn't want to answer?
just about anything.
I see. All right, so far so good.
But you've done okay.
Okay. I heard a story recently that a friend of yours was very ill and dying, and an ambulance came, and the ambulance driver asked you for your autograph.
Mm.
That kind of thing must be hard.
Mm-hmm. That was probably, that's as bad as it gets. But that was really, see, I've done a lot of complaining, and I've decided that's not a good thing.
In interviews?
Yeah, and actually, my boyfriend's mother said to me one day, who was there, and she said, if you would sometime just tell a story like what happened to you, then you wouldn't come across as such a whiner, and people would understand.
I know what you mean by the whining, because you haven't done a lot of interviews, but in the ones that I do, you are always complaining, I hate to do this, I won't do it,
I thought, well, I can't do that anymore. You have to really, literally make up lists for yourself and say, okay, these are the things I cannot change, so get over it. Now, these are the things I can change.
Perfect. What things can't you change? What things can you
Well,
change?
I can't change that I have to travel in a very complicated way.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people in my life right now. I don't like a lot of people, particularly in my life, making decisions, knowing my business, but I can't do it all myself.
Okay, those are the things you can't change. What can you change?
I don't have to go to some dinner I don't want to go to, I don't have to go to some stupid party. I don't have to do this interview, really, if I don't want to. Those kinds of things.
You can also now choose the kinds of roles you want to do, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You turned down the role that Jodie Foster took in The Silence of the Lambs. She was nominated for an Academy Award. Why'd you turn it down?
That was really a difficult decision, but I got nervous about the subject matter.
Are you sorry now that you turned it down?
Mm-mm.
I loved Married to the Mob. I loved the accent.
Thanks. I loved that accent, too. I love that accent.
Can you still do it?
Yeah.
Do a little.
No,
I can't.
no.
Not a bit? It's so unlike you.
I wish I really talked like that. I do. I loved it.
It was a real sort of New York.
Long Island.
Long
Yeah.
Island.
Long Island, yeah.
When you did The Fabulous Baker Boys, which I loved. What was it like slithering around on that piano? Tough?
Well, I trusted Steve immensely, and I've known him for a long time, and I know that he has really good taste. And I didn't even think about doing that scene until a few days before we were rehearsing it, and I thought, this could be really stupid. I could really make a fool out of myself. And I actually talked to Steve about it, and he said, look, he said, look, if if it's stupid, I won't use it. Trust me. Anyway, so I did it, and it worked.
It sure did. Will you sing again? Did you like that?
Perhaps.
Yeah?
I loved it. Yeah, I loved singing. It was really hard, but I really enjoyed it because I don't really expect much of myself. I don't consider myself a singer, so I really loved going into the recording studio, and all of that was really fun.
Frankie and Johnny. The role of Frankie was a lonely woman, hurt by men who had put up a barrier. Could you identify with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody over 30 couldn't. If you've lived any kind of life at all. I mean, sure, I could identify with that.
You know, one of the things that sort of tickled me in Frankie and Johnny is that you're so shy, and Al Pacino is so shy. And I know you'd worked with him before, but I could imagine the two of you in private life not being able to say one word to each other.
We were more like that when we did Scarface. It was, you know, truly, we were both so shy, and I was so frightened and intimidated by him, not because he wasn't a nice person, because he was, but he was such an icon for me at that time, and on Frankie and Johnny, it was really interesting how we both had changed and just become more comfortable with each other, and we had a nice time.
In Batman Returns, you play Catwoman. After a string of very serious roles, what made you decide you wanted to do a cartoon character?
Well, I felt it was time. I felt I wanted to do something light. I wanted to do something fun. As it turned out, it was one of the more difficult roles that I've ever attempted, and I thought, isn't this ironic that Catwoman might be the hardest thing you've ever done?
Because there are props and there's costumes and there's...
Just about everything you can imagine. And then I would have to get together with the stunt people and the stunt coordinator to work out the fights for the movie, and I had to learn a little bit of gymnastics, and I had to learn a little bit of about everything. The schedule became so tight that I had so many lessons on this movie.
What kinds of lessons?
Well, I mean, I just, you know, I had kickboxing, I had yoga, I had whip training, I had...
Oh, you had what?
Whip training.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the part?
Yeah, yes, for the part.
Do you know that you look a little bit like a cat?
Do I?
Yeah. You know, the eyes, and you don't think so?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. I always felt I looked more like a duck, but...
You look more like a duck? Trust me, you look more like a cat.
Well,
Why do you think you look like a duck?
I don't know. I think it's... I don't know. I just sort of resemble one. It might be the way I walk, but other people have told me that, too, so I'm not alone.
That you look like a duck?
Yeah.
Mine's more of a compliment.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you know that you're beautiful?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes on
You
a
do?
good day.
Oh.
On a good day.
Next, Michelle Pfeiffer on fidelity and marriage.
No one ever knows
I'm happier about this than I ever imagined.
all of the consequences
I've performed over 100 successful operations.
of making a choice
So they must be sick.
until it's too late.
I never get sick. My body is reacting to the foam implants.
Mary McDonnell.
Why wasn't I warned?
Gail O'Grady.
We were both misled.
The Lifetime original movie, Two Voices.
Premieres next month on Lifetime.
McDonald's Quarter Pounder with cheese. Buy any size fries and drink and get 1 Quarter Pounder with cheese for just 55 cents in a my size meal.
How much is the Quarter Pounder if I buy small Coke and fries?
55 cents.
The deal is in the meal at my McDonald's.
Mom's on the phone. She'll be home late. Cheese to the rescue. Make a chicken cheddar grill. Chicken cheddar salsa too. Cheese again. They love it. Ooh. Cheese to the rescue. Cheese.
Ma, you know how precious sleep is. Well, if you're having trouble, get Unisom. A generic store brand? Ma, it's not Unisom. The pharmacist said Unisom. It's not habit forming. Unisom ever let you down? You feel better the next day? I know, but it's not like other things. It's your sleep, Ma. It's worth it. So are you.
For over 40 years, they've created friends for all ages. Now, Jim Henson Pictures introduces their newest buddy. He's too cute.
Before we know it, he is going to be huge.
Oh, my God.
Too cool.
Shame on you.
And 2 tons
Earthquake! Earthquake!
of pure fun. Rene Russo.
So we finally have someone in the house who can wear my hand-me-down.
Buddy. Rated PG. Opens everywhere June 6th.
They invade by the thousands, leaving an invisible chemical trail. But ants can be stopped by the exterminator, the Orkin Man. He wipes out ants and makes sure they never return. Guaranteed. Call him day or night at 1-800-800-ORKIN.
Lifetime makes dreams come true. Relive some memorable weddings moments. See how to create your own dream wedding and find out who will be the next Lifetime bride. It's Weddings of a Lifetime album. Premiering Sunday, June 8th on Lifetime, television for women.
When we were reading about you, you grew up in Southern California, and there was a quote from one of your old teachers who said, she was the sunshine surfer beach girl.
I was a beach girl. I don't know the sunshine part of it. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that's where I spent most of my time.
On the beach? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Easy, nice, happy childhood?
I was always a little dramatic.
Yeah.
A little slightly dark in temperament. I've become lighter, but it's not my nature.
What did you think you were going to do?
I thought that I would become a stenographer.
That's a nice...
I actually went to school to do that for a year.
At one point when you were having different jobs, you were a checkout girl in a supermarket. Mm-hmm. When did you know that you wanted to act?
It was actually when I was checking, and I was having a very bad day at work, and I was not happy.
In the checkout counter?
In the checkout counter, yes.
Too many bags and boxes.
Yeah. I basically just asked myself what I wanted to do. I had had so many jobs at that point, and it was acting. I had taken acting in high school, and it was the only thing. I was never a real academic kind of person, and it was the only thing that I really loved. And I was not in school much, actually, and it was one class that I went to.
Did you graduate from high school?
The irony of it is I graduated in 3 years with honors.
Can you imagine? You could have made something of yourself, Michelle, if you'd only
you know what?
finished.
I'm a product of the public education system, and
you don't think it's so hot?
It sucks.
When you moved to Los Angeles, you were briefly involved in a cult.
Well, it wasn't one of the big famous ones. It was just a couple who taught sort of vegetarianism and mixed in a lot of metaphysics and I think that I was in a transitional phase of my life. I had moved away from my home, and I had moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't know many people up here, and I think looking for an identity, and I think they gave me one for a little while.
Ever been tempted since to kind of go into something and...
No, in fact, it's really done the opposite with me. I just started being able to go back into health food stores about a year ago, or like the smell of incense will send me. I am so sensitive to anything that even smells of cult. Yeah, I have a very low threshold for anything like that.
Makes you go just the other way.
Just the other way, and so as a result of that, I consequently don't believe in anything. But
your career is booming now. Do you worry about age as an actress?
I think I worry about it more because I'm an actress than I would if I weren't. I don't sit around worrying about it, but I know that after 40, it's not so easy when you're an actress. Men are allowed to age gracefully and with dignity, and when you're Sean Connery and you're 60 years old, you can be on the cover of People magazine and be the sexiest man alive. There isn't one woman that will happen to.
Will it happen to you when you're 60 years old?
No. Things are changing, but not that rapidly.
It's hard for me to look at you and think it's something that you have to think about, but I guess one does.
Well, I mean, you have to say to yourself, my time is now. Mm-hmm. And it won't be probably, it won't be when I'm 60, it won't be probably when I'm 50.
So feeling that your time is now, what does it make you do professionally, and what does it make you do privately?
I don't know that it's that I still try and really just do the movies I want to do and live my life the way I want to live my life. And there are times, though, when I feel like you have got to slow down. I somehow manage, though, to have a life and do all these movies. I don't know how I do it. I think probably because I also, but I don't have children, and that changes things. And when I begin to have children, then I'm going to have to slow down. And so I think about that. I think, well, you don't have children yet, and you're going to have to slow down when you do that, so don't worry about it right now.
Do you think I've got X number of years before that?
Well, yes, I do only have X number of years before that. I mean, things may change.
Not that much.
But not that much. They're not going to change.
You were married once to Peter Horton. Are you still friends?
Very good friends. And we just were really young. And I just think that we made such major mistakes in the relationship that were irreparable, I think. And I think when people get married that young, that often happens.
What did you learn from that marriage?
What did I learn from that marriage? A lot. I learned that I like having a sense of history with someone. That's a good thing. And
the stability.
Well, I just like having a history. I like having all that background with somebody. It's not necessarily... the stability is another thing. That's nice, too. I like the investment. I like investing in something over a long period of time. And I learned a great deal by being married. I learned about being responsible for another person, which I never would have hung in there long enough to do had I not been married. And I think that's valuable.
Do you believe in fidelity?
I do believe in that. But conceptually, I wonder sometimes. I mean, a lot of people have a hard time with it, making it work. And the percentages of people that are successful are very, very small, and I just wonder if it's natural. And yet, I'm very traditional, and yet I believe in those things, so I'm kind of split.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 43.
With children, Maybe married. Still acting.
Demons all gone?
No, no, no. The demons will never be gone. I don't know that I would really want them to be. Either. I think that you just need to tame them. I think it would be really boring not to have any.
Everything we have read indicates that the thing you hated the most was doing interviews. This interview is now done. How do you feel about interviews?
I think they're fine. I don't hate them anymore. I think that they're fine.
How are you feeling now?
Just fine.
And relieved as can be.
Yes. Yes.
When your period's late, waiting's the worst. First Response understands. That's why its pregnancy test is so fast. I got accurate results as soon as 2 minutes. I feel better now that I know. For an accurate, fast response, trust First Response.
Cleaning up after the kids can be a big job without the Eureka Super Broom. Corded, lightweight, and plenty of suction cleans up fast. And Cordless Boss Light with its powered brush roll makes light work of big jobs. Corded Super Broom, Cordless Boss Light. Such a great price, anyone can afford more than one from Eureka.
Now you can reduce hair loss from breaking and splitting. Introducing new Cortex Intensive Conditioner with Gelatin. Proven to reduce hair loss from breaking and splitting by 60%. If you blow dry, brush, style, or color, you're probably losing hair to breakage and splitting. Cortex contains gelatin, like the gelatin women trust to strengthen nails. Cortex strengthens hair, so you reduce breaking and splitting. New Cortex with Gelatin.
Some men think strong opinions are a sign of PMS. Real PMS includes headaches, cramps, bloating, which make you feel miserable. But Midol PMS helps you feel like yourself again, opinions and all.
For PMS, nothing works better than Midol PMS.
I love eggs, from my head down to my legs. Minutes they're done, perfect on the run.
Heard the latest news about eggs and cholesterol? Look for this ad in these magazines.
The incredible edible egg.
McDonald's Big Beefy Quarter Pounder with cheese. Just buy any size fries and drink and get one Big Beefy Quarter Pounder with cheese for just 55 cents in a My Size meal.
55 cents? How much is the quarter pounder if I buy a small Coke and fries?
55 cents.
How much if I buy a strawberry shake and fries?
55 cents.
The deal is in the meal. My Size meal at my McDonald's.
For a while, when I was doing interviews, beautiful women would tell me how tough it is to be beautiful. Everybody should have such problems. Michelle Pfeiffer, however, was aware of that, and she chose this interview to say that she's through complaining. She may have a legitimate complaint, but it's very hard to see when you look at that face.